You are listening to Venus Rose, interactive spiritual Q&A and the power of sound.
Music is like sunshine.
Hello, conscious souls. How are you feeling? We are still basking in the energies of the new moon in Cancer. In case your body says, I feel like sleeping all the time like mine does, that could be a reason why. New moons are new beginnings, a moment to set the direction for new positive things we want to grow in our lives, especially needed when the world outside seems heavy. We had a conjunction between Jupiter and Sun in Cancer, highlighting emotional growth and all themes around home and family. It has been 12 years since we had this the last time, so you could count back and look at what themes were present for you the last time Jupiter visited this space. The astrologer Molly McCord explains it so beautifully. She says, it is an expansive, amplified experience of our emotional world that brings up some questions, like what has been birthed within you during the last weeks in June. The square to Saturn and Neptune in Aries has pushed aspects of our consciousness, forcing us to birth into a new, higher version of ourselves. That might have been uncomfortable, emotional, intense, and a forward push into the unknown. One of my closest friends celebrated an old fire ritual together with her living partner. They burned a sheet of paper where they have previously written everything on it. They want to let go about themselves that is no longer needed. So in case anyone would like to talk with me about your personal transformation and perhaps get some assistance, you can book a one-on-one session with me. Just send me an email, which you can find in the show notes, or leave me a comment on my YouTube channel named Crystal Seraphim Sound. I only chose one big question for today. I received it via Spotify. What options do I have to energetically dissolve negative emotions and triggers? Okay, this is not so easy to answer, because it depends what kind of being you are. And what I mean by that is there are thankfully so many options for you to try, depending what route you want to take. I try my best to dissect what, in essence, are the most important aspects, so you can go from there. First of all, you need to be aware that something has been triggered within you. You might wonder why I mentioned that. But most of the time, people do not even realize that they have been triggered. Whatever outer circumstances or other beings, they are the reason for their emotions. Since you are asking this, you are most likely aware how the mechanism works technically. So the next step I usually do is ask myself, what is the reason that this person or what he or she is doing is bringing up this emotion within me? When I found the issue, I isolate it, which means I try to focus on that particular habit from me. Usually, it is a pattern from our childhood. I let the emotions come up, as intense as it gets, and then decide to let it go. It varies. Sometimes it takes me just one day, Otherwise, it might take a week or even longer. It just depends what comes up and how intense those feelings are. So just be patient with yourself and take what comes up step by step. We can simply breathe those things through, those emotions. It must not need to be a meditation, just breathing and bringing the vagus nerve to tone down so the parasympathetic nervous system can be activated and our whole body can get into a relaxed state. How is this energetic, you might ask? Well, not everything esoteric is woo-woo or yes. Apart from that, we are all spiritual beings and our breath is sacred. To check the flower essence toolbox is a blessing. There are many different blossoms who can help us manage and dissolve diverse emotions. For example, aspen, in Latin Populus tremula, is a beautiful essence to support nervous system anxiousness that cannot be localized. Quite effective for horses. Borage, in Latin Borago officinalis, is a blossom which essence helps with heavy heartness or grief and even depressive behavior. There are many more blossoms that can beautifully assist in this area. Chamomile, in Latin Matricaria camomilia. Yes, you heard. Right, we all know her. But she's not only a tea that we can drink to calm down our digestive system. Many do not know that chamomile has antiseptic, antimicrobial, and other properties that can be used for oral cavity and gum or to heal other inflammatory issues of the skin. The essence of their blossoms work on a different level. It can help with anger issues or the inability to release emotional tensions. Flower essences in general are very helpful because they have an effect on our subtle bodies, where our cognitive brain can't regulate. I often use them for children and animals. I recommend them when clients need to pass tests, for example, various kind of tests, and they might need support there. Depending on what kind of issue emerges, you can move your body through dance or exercise to increase endorphins and go for a walk to reduce cortisol levels. All that can help. As always, I recommend music. Head on to my YouTube channel and see if something resonates there. You can find the link in the notes. Put on the sad song if you must. Work through the old heartbreak. Yes, invite it in. Let it be seen. The pain wants to be heard and acknowledged so that the next time when the issue may come up from outside, it won't trigger you anymore. Don't let the inner ancestral critic beat you up. Learn to be your own best friend. Be attentive to what you need. I worked hard, very hard, the last decades to work through all my own stuff. So in general, I recognize the connection within my own story. I want to know exactly what lies beneath things. I want to know why things trigger me. But it's simply because I'm wired that way, and it helps me with my work in this area. I want to be as clear as possible, but energetically it is not necessary to know it in detail. Emotions are a very, if not the most important cue for our systems, a connection between our bodies and the soul. But we need to understand we are not defined by them, or at least should not be. They come up and can be heavy or light, for sure, can be really intense, but they are not us. We are more than our emotions, and they are not here to stay. Even the most intense emotion will eventually leave. If, drum roll, big if, we are willing to let the emotions go. What keeps them in our system are the stories we create around them. We all are trained to do this in this, and it is human to some degree, I think. Animals, can't really say this for sure if they do it, maybe in their own way, but it's a human thing for sure. And it's all tied to our cultural upbringing as well. For example, when a man loses the job, it is existential, and it can be a shock, of course. But if he spins the narrative that he is not a good provider for his family in his head, or even a bad dad because of that, those are the stories that keep the negative emotions bound to us. This is not easy to resolve instantly, because in that case, for example, the underlying narrative has to do with self-worth. Perhaps it was time to apply for a new job that suits him better. I remember when I was younger, I had a boss. And one time, I will never forget that, he got me angry, which I seldom get, and for sure, not so easy. He got me so angry that I could not move for about 20 minutes. I did not have a meditation routine at that time. I simply breathed. I sat there on my chair and just breathed deeply. And then I decided to leave. I decided to leave that stud shortly after. I no longer wanted to be exploited in that way ever again. To please people because I wanted to be loved and seen was an old pattern of mine, but I always checked if it was reciprocal to some degree. Yes, since this has been a question that beholds the vastness of souls, and with it the opportunities to heal, I hope I could at least have been a little bit of an inspiration where to start to check if something comes up. And if you would like to have assistance with this, you can book a one-on-one session with me so we can ask your soul in which direction we must look to solve whatever matter has showed up in your life. Simply send me an email for further details. So the solstice gateway is behind us, and the Cancer season has just begun. So send me questions all around emotions, emotional growth, family and home. As always, let me know what moves you. Thank you all for tuning in. Love to you all. Rose.